Let's look at the Steelers. And as of late, their running game is getting a little bit better. But Steelers have been outgained in every game this season. They've run fewer plays than their opponent in every game this season. They have a negative 26 is their point differential. So opponents have scored 26 more points. Somehow they're 6-3. Those things do not add up. But Steelers are 6-3, and this is a team clearly the Browns should beat at home.
Cockroaches, just they won't die. Like, you have to step on them. If you let them hang around, they somehow, it's inexplicable. Negative 26-point differential, and have not outgained a single team yet. They're 6-3. How does that happen? Teams allow them to hang around. You got to step on them. That's the only way around it.
All right, here is how it happens, actually. Take a look at this. This is a turnover chart. So x-axis, total points lost through giveaways. Y-axis, that's up and down, total points gained through takeaways. And way up in the corner where you want to be on both sides of that are the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when teams turn the ball over, they turn them into points. And when they turn the ball over, they don't allow them to become points.
Yeah, I think it's a marriage of two things. They're really well coached. It brings up their floor, and they're very opportunistic. And they have a good defense. I'm not trying to, you can't get around that. They have playmakers on defense, and they always seem to come up big in those kind of moments. Key is, don't let those moments come to fruition. Because if it's a close game and they're hanging around, that's what will happen. They'll make one turnover, and then they'll make the one play they need to make on offense, and magically they get to go home with a win they should have never had. They've done it time and time again. And if you look at it, especially at home, they're excellent at that. This game's in Cleveland.
All right.
You can't allow any of that stuff to go down.
So Kenny Pickett is the quarterback, and you know my thoughts on Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is 2-0 against the Browns. In two of the starts against the Browns, his completion percentage is under 50%. It's 47%. In week 2, 68% of his 222 passing yards were yards after catch. He was 4 of 14 on third downs. So again, right there are a couple of things. He had the 71-yard pass to Pickens on a little bit of a blown coverage, if you will. He's a guy that they can get after and they can rattle him. That defensive line should be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. That's the assignment. You got a guy back there that is mid at best. Now, I hope there's no Steelers fans listening to this, because I want them to believe in him. I want them to spend the next 2 or 3 years trying to figure out if he's the guy. But the reality of the situation is, he's a subpar quarterback, and he has, like I said, the floor is high enough. They need him to do the bare minimum, and he literally, that's the most he's done, is the bare minimum. And usually the first 3 quarters are terrible, and he makes a play or two in the fourth quarter, and that's what they're hanging their hat on. It's miraculous, because he's mid-level at best.
All right, so the Browns, what do they do? What do they need to do? How do they get a win against, again, your edge rushers are tough. Your tackles, I don't know if DeJuan Jones will be able to go or not. You might be on your 4th and 5th tackles again. How do you get a win against the Steelers?
Set a tone. You set a tone just right from the beginning of the game that you let them know they're not in your league. This is a game where it's incumbent upon the Browns to enforce their will from the jump. You don't get off to a slow start, because as we've established, if you let the Steelers hang around, they'll win the game. You just can't let that happen. You got to hope DeJuan Jones can go. I'll say that. But I would be okay even if DeJuan can go. I would be okay with Christian starting at left tackle. I loved what I saw of that young man. But they have the talent. They have the talent to get this done easily. It's not even a question to me who's the more talented team, even with the injuries the Browns have had. I think that by far they're the more talented team. It's about enforcing their will. It's about going out there and setting a tone and just stepping on their necks from the beginning of the whistle.
I would not mind seeing more of the big lineup. Even if Hudson lines up as a tight end, Nick Harrison, because they've shown they have a passing attack out of that.
Yeah, they have a passing attack out of that, and now they've shown they've had a running game out of the shotgun. So they're just showing you they can vary their approach up to meet whatever need they have at that specific time. And if they're down tackles still, go with that big lineup, get Nick Harris in there. And Njoku's a phenomenal inline blocker as well, so he can play on all those big units. They can be whatever they need to be. And to beat the Steelers, they may have to pull out some rabbits out of the hat there and kind of keep the Steelers defense guessing.